Amazing pictures of celebrities living and working in 1950s California. California is home to Los Angeles, the entertainment capital of the world. No wonder then that many Hollywood movie stars choose to live and work in the Golden State. In the 1950s, the U.S. film industry was in transition, moving out of its classical period and the rigid studio system and about to embrace the new and rebellious Hollywood of the 1960s. But for most celebrities living and working in 1950s California, it was business as usual. Watch for a snapshot of movie stars at work, rest, and play in 1950s California. Shirley MacLaine. Pictured in April 1959, Shirley MacLaine, Academy Award nominee for Best Actress for her role in Some Came Running, 1958, models the gown that she will wear when she attends the Academy Awards ceremony. James Dean, 1931–1955, and Marlon Brando, 1924–2004. James Dean and Marlon Brando relax in a wicker ocean rolling chair at the 20th Century Fox Studios backlot in 1954. Brando is half in costume playing Napoleon in Henry Costa's Desiree, while Dean is just along for the ride. Walt Disney, 1901–1966. Animator and producer Walt Disney and his wife, Lillian, and their daughter, Diane, ride a spinning teacup at Disneyland, shortly after its opening in Anaheim on July 17, 1955. The first Disney theme park, it was the only such facility designed and built to completion under the direct supervision of Walt Disney himself. Marilyn Monroe, 1926–1962, and Ella Fitzgerald, 1917–1996. Marilyn Monroe in an obviously chatty mood as she meets jazz singer Ella Fitzgerald at the Tiffany Club in Hollywood in 1954. Monroe appears in glowing health after recent surgery at the Cedars of Lebanon Hospital in Los Angeles. Kirk Douglas, 1916–2020. Kirk Douglas arrives at the Palm Springs Racquet Club in California for a game on court number 1. It's 1952, the year The Bad and the Beautiful was released, for which Douglas was nominated for Best Actor. Jane Russell, 1921–2011, and Robert Ryan, 1909–1973. Jane Russell laughs out loud as she is splashed by Robert Ryan, larking around in a swimming pool in Hollywood in 1950. Little Richard, 1932–2020. The 1950s witnessed a new musical genre sweeping the United States, rock and roll. Here, musician Little Richard performs on stage with his band in 1957 in a scene from the movie Mr. Rock and Roll. Tony Curtis, 1925–2010. Tony Curtis and Julie Adams, 1926–2019, both seated center and famous alumni of the School for Stars in Hollywood. Pay a visit to their old college in 1956 and hold a class for the new generation of acting students. Behind Curtis stands a young acting hopeful, Clint Eastwood. Sophia Loren, 1934. Italian actress Sophia Loren with her flashy 1954 Chevrolet Corvette in Los Angeles in 1958. The Corvette became known as America's sports car, and was a favorite with celebrities. Stanley Kubrick, 1928–1999. Director Stanley Kubrick on the set of Spartacus in July 1959. Spartacus was filmed in various locations in California, though the epic battle scenes were shot near Madrid, in Spain. After the film's release in 1960, Kubrick relocated to England, where he based himself for the rest of his life. Roger Moore, 1927–2017. Roger Moore reading Webster's New 20th Century Dictionary at his home in Los Angeles in 1955. Long before Bond, the English actor worked in Hollywood in several films for MGM and Warner Brothers before finding fame in Great Britain as Simon Templar in the hit television series The Saint, 1962–1969. Bing Crosby, 1903–1977. A golf fanatic, Bing Crosby spent much of his leisure time on the fairways, in the US and around the world. He's pictured here teeing off in a charity tournament at California's Lakeside Golf Course in 1950. Howard Hughes, 1905–1976. Howard Hughes blocks a press photographer's view as the business magnate departs a Los Angeles courtroom after denying that he used the controversy surrounding the lawsuit leveled against him by blacklisted screenwriter Paul Jarrico as an excuse to close down RKO Studios. Frank Sinatra, 1915 to 1998. Frank Sinatra lends a hand on the NBC-CBS TV Olympic Telethon at the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles in late June 1952. Elvis Presley, 1935 to 1977. The biggest name in rock and roll music, Elvis Presley is seen here with actress Joan Bradshaw wearing costumes to celebrate Halloween on October 31, 1957 in Hollywood. Grace Kelly, 1929 to 1982. Grace Kelly with James Stewart, 1908 to 1997, and director Alfred Hitchcock, 1899 to 1980, on the set of the movie Rear Window in November 1953 in Los Angeles. The film was shot entirely at Paramount Studios, which included an enormous indoor set to replicate a Greenwich Village courtyard. Clark Gable, 1901 to 1960. Clark Gable and his movie star buddies Van Heflin, 1910 to 1971, Gary Cooper, 1901 to 1961, and James Stewart, 1908 to 1997, enjoy a joke at a New Year's party held at Romanoff's in Beverly Hills on December 31, 1957. Audrey Hepburn, 1929 to 1993, and Humphrey Bogart, 1899 to 1957. Audrey Hepburn takes to two wheels as Humphrey Bogart stands alongside her in a 1954 publicity still for the romantic comedy drama Sabrina. Katharine Hepburn, 1907 to 2003, chilling out on a Californian tennis court in 1952 as screen star Katharine Hepburn. It was the same year she appeared in Pat and Mike, a romantic comedy in which she plays a brilliant athlete, with women's golf and tennis championships within her reach. Bob Hope, 1903 to 2003. Comedian Bob Hope takes a back seat as he presents the 1959 Hollywood Deb stars, all of whom he later introduced on his NBC TV show. Natalie Wood, 1938 to 1981. In 1957 and already known for Rebel Without a Cause, 1955, Natalie Wood appeared in this commercial for new drive-in movie speakers at a Hollywood theater. Judy Garland, 1922 to 1969. In A Picture of Domestic Bliss, Judy Garland and her movie director husband, Vincente Minnelli, help their daughter, Liza, celebrate her 4th birthday in this staged 1950 image. The couple divorced the following year. Yul Brynner, 1920 to 1985. An accomplished photographer, actor Yul Brynner stands in front of a display of his photographs on the set of the 1956 film The King and I. After completion of the movie, each member of the cast and crew was given their own personally autographed portrait. Chuck Berry, 1926 to 2017. Another big name in rock and roll, musician and singer-songwriter Chuck Berry poses for a portrait holding a Gibson hollow-body electric guitar in a scene from the 1959 movie Go, Johnny, Go, which was made at the Culver City studios of Hal Roach Productions. Berry's music would later influence the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, among other 60s bands. Buster Keaton, 1895 to 1966, and Charlie Chaplin, 1889 to 1977. Although set in London, Limelight, 1952, was made entirely in the Hollywood area. It was directed by Charlie Chaplin, who also stars in the film with Clay Bloom and Buster Keaton, 1895 to 1966. Limelight is regarded as one of Chaplin's best and most personal works, and has attained a cult following. Paul Newman, 1925 to 2008. In this candid 1955 photograph, Paul Newman cradles a soda bottle under one arm while digging into a small snack food bag in front of a stall in California selling Mexican souvenirs. Steve McQueen, 1930 to 1980. In the late 1950s, Steve McQueen was starring in the popular television show Wanted Dead or Alive as well as appearing in films. The actor was making enough money to indulge in his passion, cars. He's pictured in 1959 relaxing in his Porsche Speedster at the Riverside Raceway in Moreno Valley. Clint Eastwood, 1930. Clint Eastwood playing golf at his home in the Hollywood Hills near Los Angeles, circa 1959. During this period, Eastwood was appearing as Rowdy Yates in the Western television series Rawhide. Errol Flynn, 1909 to 1959. Errol Flynn puts on a brave, devil-may-care face as he's pictured in Los Angeles' Lincoln Heights jail. The movie star, by now in declining health and with his best films behind him, was arrested for public intoxication along with 21-year-old Irish aspiring actress Maura Fitzgibbons on October 19, 1957. Rock Hudson, 1925 to 1985. Rock Hudson, as the newly elected mayor of Universal City, swears in as fire chief and police chief, actresses Jackie Lowry and Marilyn Maxwell, after the ballot in 1953. Louis Armstrong, 1901 to 1971. Louis Armstrong and his band perform at the first show of the 1954-55 season at the Hollywood Bowl, one of the most prestigious music venues in the United States.